Okay. Hey, hi. Hi, everyone. That was Isabel. Hi, everyone. It was nice to have Isabel here. Hey, everyone. My name's David. We're going to do grammar in this session, and we're going to look at the use of prepositions. And prepositions are really important because sometimes there are no regular patterns, and you have to learn them. So, and the only way to learn them is to become familiar with them by seeing them, by hearing them, and by using them. So that's what we're going to do in this session. We'll probably go for about 30 minutes or so. So stay tuned for the entire time. Make sure you're comfortable. There are no distractions or as few distractions as possible that you can predict. Grab a pen and a pad. You're going to write stuff down and also interact in the chat box. So welcome everyone from everywhere. It's lovely to have you here. We're going to get started, stuck in. We're going to do stuff and we're going to go for about 30 minutes. All right. So we're going to look at prepositions of time, prepositions of place and location, and we're going to look at preposition pairs. So noun and preposition, verbs and prepositions, adjectives and prepositions. Yeah. So effectively, these make phrases, and noun phrases and verb phrases and adjectival phrases. They also make collocations, which is we're matching prepositions that go with things and actions. Noun is a thing, action is a verb, and description is. One moment, just wait while we just get this back up and running. Hold on, tick. Uh, there it is. Sorry about that. I'm just going to reshare screen for a tick. Isabel's there. We've got just a dropout. So wait 1 sec. This should do it. There it is again. Okay, so we're going to look at, sorry about that. We're going to look at nouns and verbs and adjectives that are grouped with prepositions, common errors, for and since, and we're going to look at fixed expressions on the one hand, on the other hand, for example. So let's get stuck in and doing it. Prepositions. Now, we commonly use prepositions to show a relationship in space or time, meaning literally in space, on, in, under, in front of, or a logical, or time, after, before, midday, for example, or a logical relationship between two or more people, places or things. So time, space, and a relationship between people or things. Prepositions are most commonly followed by a noun phrase or a pronoun. So let's see some super simple examples. So we've got a puppy dog there and a table. The dog is on, literally on the table. Now the preposition is on. It's a word of position. Yeah. Now the dog is under the table. Again, we position the dog in relation to the table in space. Yep, we got that. And then there's a dog. Where is the dog? The dog is next to or beside the table. Awesome. Now, when the dog jumps over the table, the dog would, in fact, jump through space, through the space over the table. Awesome. Now, you can catch up with these basic prepositions when you log into some of the work on the core skills part of the platform. And if you want to, you can do that. Look at time, space, and movement as part of the Essential Grammar course. Now, preposition pairs. So this is the interesting bit and why we're here to study. We're going to look at why does in go with some words, or on, or by, with, or from, or to, and not others. And that's what we have to learn, generally by hearing them. So let's read this and read along with me. Can parachuting help people with a gambling addiction? New research shows that extreme sports athletes have quite a lot in common with gamblers. The money hustling schemes of the racecourse and parachuting may seem like worlds apart, but according to new research from the University of Bergen, extreme sport athletes may be just as addicted to thrill seeking and their impulses as compulsive gamblers are. Whereas for gamblers, the rising stakes may lead to a loss of money and economic woes, the extreme sport addicts exhibit a somewhat healthier lifestyle. Okay, so help with, in common with, schemes of, according to, addicted to, may lead to, loss of. So with, of, to are prepositions, and they're a part of phrases. Now it goes back for a very long time in the history of English, and some of these come from the Latin, in fact. So prepositions are often attached to verbs, nouns, and adjectives. Yep, and they just do it. We do it through usage. So the way we get familiar with them is to hear them or read them. So let's work on that, noun and preposition. So noun and preposition pairs, which they fall naturally together and we recognize that they have a relationship. So agree, a ban, example, a cause, reason, participation, talent, experience, responsibility, a demand, a rise, a need. And we've got of, for, in, and on. Now we're going to match those and we're going to pair them. So think to yourself, there's agreement of, there's agreement for, there's agreement if, there's in, there's agreement on. Yep. Now, it would take 60 seconds normally to process that information. In Ask Quick session today, we're going to do it instantly. And there we are. So an example of reason for, rise in, agreement on. So take a screenshot of those if you want, because we need to remember them. So we can't say an example in or an example on, but we do say example of. And when we get used to hearing that relationship, we just repeat that phrase. We get it? Yeah. So responsibility for, but not responsibility on. Okay. And why that is? It's the way the language is formed over time. So we're going to choose the correct preposition. So again, excuse the numbers. They should have changed. Not everyone has a talent in playing sports. What sounds right to you? Now, if it sounds right, it is right. If it sounds wrong, it is wrong. So trust your ears. A talent, participation, one example. Okay, so in the chat box, writing, the ones that you think are correct. And that should read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just a few seconds to do it. Not 2 minutes, because we're going to move through today so that we recognize these patterns and then you can use them. All right, did you find some? Something like this. Yep, not everyone has a talent for playing sports, children's participation in, one example of, a ban on, and a rise in. Now, it's worthwhile taking a screenshot of that and reading them out loud to hear what they sound like. Cool. All done? Okay, now what is one cause? We've heard this before. Yep. Now answer the question using the pronoun and preposition for. It's a pair. So what is one cause? My apologies for the slides not having numbers correctly, but if we just take half a second, they should be all right. So great, they're going to be fine in half a tick. So one cause of environmental damage, one example, of a famous person, who should take responsibility for what children eat, what is their high demand for in your country at the moment, and you'd be able to answer those questions using the correct preposition that you recognize from our table, Perfect. Okay. Now, verb and preposition. Remember, noun and preposition, verb and preposition, adjective and preposition. So here are verbs. Verbs are doing things, to cope. Now, that's an abstract verb, blame, abstract verb. Deal, agree, suffer, pay. These are all abstract. Graduate, apologize, concentrate. Not run, sit, eat. And we're going to match them with to, for, from, at, with, and on. Cope, we've heard it before, with. Apologize, for. Pay, for. Now, sometimes a preposition will go with, or a different preposition, more than one preposition will go with a verb stem, So let's have a look. Apologize for, apologize to, listen to, react to, agree with. Brilliant. So now that we've got to, for, from, at, with, on, matched with verbs, we've got verb pairs. And we know these as collocations, words that go together, which is prepositions and verbs in this case. So read them aloud so you can hear them and recognize them. You'll also hear speakers use them and recognize them. And then when you're writing, you'll make the correct choice. And that's the idea. So you end up writing error-free sentences and also speaking without grammatical errors. Beautiful. We got it? Okay, screenshot, put it on the phone, put it on your laptop or your device, and refer to it, crop it and refer to it as a useful table of information that will enable you to score high in tests and also maintain grammatical correctness. All right, now some words match with different prepositions. We know that because that's language usage as well. Okay, so choose the correct preposition. So we will do this one, 60 seconds, yep, to match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 2, 4, from, at, with, or on. All right, keeping an eye on the time, away you go. Typing into the chat box or writing it down on a pad in front of you. Isabel's going to let me know if people are writing in, and she's going to write them in the chat box as well. So matching the verb with the preposition to, for, from, at, with, or on. Words of position. Another 30 seconds. Okay, you got them because they sound right, yeah? You've heard them before, so you're repeating what you've heard. Why? Because if you don't repeat the form, it will likely, or possibly, most likely, be incorrect, which will count against you. All right, so we're repeating what we've heard. Beautiful. Okay, so what were the answers? Here we go. Suffer from, yep, deal with, rely on, pay for, benefit from, agree to, blamed for, and cope with. Put them in the ear, they come out the mouth or out the pen. Yep, that's the idea. All right. Adjective and preposition. Remember the third part of this pattern. Noun, verb, adjective, and preposition. So we're going to choose the correct preposition in this case. Now, some of it will sound right. You'll know it already. If you don't know, guess and be wrong and then correct it. Yep. So we're here to learn. So I love most animals, but I'm scared by snakes. Possible, likely to be scared of snakes, not for snakes. So some dog breeds are really good in detecting scents, for detecting scents, possible, at detecting scents is most likely because it's the most used. So it is usage patterns that we're following. Yeah, we've heard it before, we'll say it again. Jane Goodall became famous at her work, in her work with chimpanzees. The children were excited with the visiting the circus. We'll find out. The children were excited at visiting the circus. The children were excited by visiting the circus, but the experience was different from what they had expected. I am proud of the progress my country has made in relation to animal rights, but many are not interested in this topic. While I am house sitting, I am responsible for walking the dog. Let's see if we got them. Scared of snakes, good at detecting scents, famous for her work, excited about visiting the circus. That was the better choice, but experience was different from what they had expected. I am proud of the progress of my country, but many are not interested in this topic, and I am responsible for walking the dog. All right, again, screenshot, read them out loud in your own voice so you can program yourself to make those choices by speaking and writing. All right, I'll leave that on screen for a second longer. Again, camera shot of the details, crop it, leave it on your phone, flick through it and use it as part of a textbook. Yep, photo, grammar, which you can refer to later on today or tomorrow or next week even. Yep, to improve your understanding and put a memory of those phrases of pairs, those pairs that go together. The adjective, describing word, and position or preposition. Good, adjective. Famous, adjective. Excited, in this case, excited about, an adjective phrase. Proud, interested, responsible. In this case, these words function as adjectives and we pair them with prepositions in order to make meaningful sense. All good. Okay, adjective and preposition pairs. Now, if you think about it, we use the preposition, then we used in the question form, we also use the preposition and the pairing in the answer form. So can you choose one of those and create a question and an answer? Okay, you choose which one you're attracted to. Yeah, which one makes sense to you today? Yep. Is it pride? Is it excitement? Is it a skill you've got? Is it where you are now and what you've got responsibility for? So writing that down or typing it out and at least speaking it out in order to establish the relationship between the adjective and the preposition and the words around them. Yep. Okay, so give it a go. Writing or at least speaking out loud at least one of those sentences. Yep. Did you get one or two out? I hope so. Okay. All right. So what are you scared of? I'm scared of, am scared of snakes. I don't want to be bitten and I don't want my dog to be bitten by snakes. Yeah. What are you really good at? Really good at tying flies. Yeah. For my fishing. I'm good at that now. What is Jordan famous for? He is famous for basketball. What are you excited about at the moment? I'm excited about music at the moment. What are you most proud of? I'm most proud of the success of my children. Yeah. What are you most proud of? Yeah. In your home, what are you responsible for? I'm responsible for paying the bills and doing the dishes. Okay. And you? Yep. Find your own real life examples and use the phrase in order to create meaning. All good. Common errors. Now we're going to look at for and since and distinguish the difference between the two. So, for and since. June, a month of the year. Now. Now is after June. So, for is a period of time. So, between June and now, which is the beginning of December, is a period of time. Yep. So, for a period of time. Since is a point in the past. Yeah. June was a couple of months ago. It was a period in the past, a point in time. So in the past, there's a point in time, and now is sometime later. So there's a relationship between those two periods of time. And we're going to work out when do we use for and when do we use since. For, period of time, since, point in time. So which of these is correct? I'm going to let you answer them first with your understanding. I have lived here 3 months. I have lived here June. Okay, so what do you think is the correct answer for 1 and is the correct answer for 2? Yep. Okay. Just if you don't know, take a gamble. You got a 50-50. Otherwise, if you do know, you will have got it correct. Yep. So I have lived here, period of time, for 3 months. I have lived here, point in time, since June. Makes sense, yeah? Yeah. Now you've nailed it. Yep. So now you've got for, period of time, since, point in time. All right. Can you choose which ones you want to answer? It can be all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Choose for or since. And if you've got a chance, type it in the chat box, because what will happen is it will end up on YouTube with your name on it. Yeah. So hopefully you'll get them correct. And if you don't, we're in a learning process. We're in a learning space where you're allowed to be wrong. Okay. And we learn how to be correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've been studying here. Is it a point in time or a period of time? You choose. See you in about, we're going to speed up 2 minutes into 30 seconds. Okay. Point in time or period of time? Yeah, I think we got it. Yeah, I think we understand it. So let's have a look at the answers. Yep. I've been studying here, period of time, for 3 weeks. She lived with the tribe, period of time, for half a year. Since I was a child, I have always played sport. Yep, point in time in the past, childhood. The government has been promising tax reform since it was elected. Point in time when it was elected. I've known her for over half my life. Period of time, 4. They've been driving since early this morning. Point in time. Yeah, we got it? Yeah, I think so. Well done. Now, during and while, we're going to correct these ones, yeah? So remember, we've been doing prepositions. Now we're doing for and since and during and while. Okay, bats sleep the day. I wrote my essay. I was watching TV. Which one is during and which one is while? Bats sleep during the day. I wrote my essay while I was watching TV. Bats sleep during the day. Noun. I wrote my essay while I was watching TV. Clause. So, during the noun, while another event was happening. Preposition, conjunction. Whew. So during, preposition during a noun, while a conjunction joining two clauses together in a sentence. See what you can make of these. Okay, you think you got them too? Okay, all right, we cracked it. All right, let's have a look. While I was at university, not during, while I was at university, she kept talking during the noun. The decision was made during the noun, and I was cooking dinner, conjunction, watching the presidential debate. Beautiful. We got it, didn't we? Okay. Now let's look at fixed expressions. Yeah. Now, here we go. Again, in, on, by, with, from, to, at, for, with fixed expressions. So, you know some of them. You've heard them before, and that's the point. You've created a memory through sound. Let's do what you can. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do what you can. Type them in if you can. Write them on a piece of paper. Read them out loud. In, on, by, with, from, to, for, at, with, from, at, in. They're all the same. We're going around in circles. Yeah, you got them. Now, the fun bit is that you've heard them before and you've found them in your memory. You've dragged them up. And today you're using them. All right, here they are. On the one hand, odd, isn't it? On the one hand, on the other hand, in my view, from my perspective, at the end of the day, in conclusion, by and large, take for granted, in common with. Beautiful. Now, the idea is that you use these phrases. Why? Because collocated phrases sound natural, and when they're accurate, it improves your score because every rubric will include a recognition of this type of lexis, which is vocabulary, which is how did you sequence ideas in error-free sentences. And by using these phrases or expressions, you're going to end up doing it. So it's worthwhile getting them right now. Yep. Take a screenshot if you want it, and you'll be able to draw relationships between events in sentences and in paragraphs, and you'll be able to introduce ideas at the beginning of sentences as well as in the middle of sentences. Yep, so you're sequencing clauses and you're sequencing sentences. Happy days, because they're error-free and they will get you into the higher level because they sound natural, because they are, and they're accurate. All right, now what about this? Okay, let's see if we can solve some of these. Fixed expressions, meaning, yeah, literally collocated words, words that go together through usage. Fixed, as in we recognize them, yet they're not fluid, and they're expressions that we use to convey ideas. Got any ideas? Yeah, I think you got some. Cool. All right, so let's have a look. While there are some advantages, by and large, the problems are more significant. Even though governments have a role to play, at the end of the day, it's up to each individual to take action. It is natural at the end of the day. It is natural for us to take our health for granted, especially if our family members are well. Some support this proposal, but from my perspective, it is flawed. Powerful language, isn't it? Yeah? To sequence and develop ideas and persuade listeners and readers to follow our thinking. Quick recap. Today we worked on prepositions of time, place, and location. We looked at preposition pairs, noun plus preposition, verb plus preposition, adjective plus preposition. We looked at common errors that we make with for and since, and understood point in time and period of time, and during versus while, preposition versus conjunction. And we looked at some fixed expressions that use prepositions. All right, so there was our little masterclass in prepositions. I know you guys are getting it because I sense it from here. Now, extra practice. When you're on the platform, you've logged in, you've pitched, you've bought into the whole deal, you're going to do well, you're aiming high, you're going for an 8, you're going for a 90, you're going for a high score in OET or TOEFL or CELPIP as well. Do the practice tasks, then the assessment. So you can get graded for what you do know, so you know that you're going well and you can work out what you need to work on. You can practice all your skills off the platform. That's listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You can follow the live classes by participating actively in all the live classes, just like this, where you get recognized. You write into the chat box. The teacher will know that you're contributing, and your voice, your writing will be heard. Your text will be heard. Your responses will be responded to. Yep, in our live classes. You can also watch recordings of them, which means that if you miss one or you want to go back over an area that you feel unfamiliar with, replay it. Take a mock test before test day, which enables you to get an accurate score and feedback on all parts of the test that you're taking, which will give you the confidence to do well on test day. Brilliant idea. For those of you, again, who are enrolled in courses, upgrade to make sure that you take advantage of the one-to-one tutorials, the feedback, plus the mock test, the live classes, and also the group classes. The group classes often have one person in them, which could be you. If not, there'll be one or two other people as well, and you'll be doing the same work and figure out how to solve the problems together. So one-to-one tutorial, 45 minutes with an expert teacher who's been doing it for a long time and has got tens of thousands of students through the test. You choose the time and you get comprehensive feedback on what you've done, and also you can ask questions in that space in order to clarify what you're not sure about. So thanks for joining. It's been awesome to have you here. My name's David. I look forward to seeing you next class. I know you guys are working hard. This was our grammar class, and next Monday we're going to go live again, and the YouTube video will be available for some time after that. So work hard, stay on the job, absorb as much as you can while you're studying, and good luck, and look forward to seeing you in class soon. Bye now.